This episode of the Closeout Bodyboarding Podcast is brought to you by Bodyboarding Victoria and Attica Wetsuits. The new Attica Winter range is now available in your favourite bodyboard and surf hardware stores. To stay warm this winter, check out the new Alpha series featuring liquid seams, gridlock firewall lining and 100% Neospan Super Stretch for ultimate flex. Or if you're lucky enough to be in a warmer climate, the Omega series has you covered with GBS construction, seamless stomach design and taped criticals. Check out the entire range at atticawetsuits.com. Welcome to the podcast, Benny Sawyer, 2024 Shark Island Challenge champion, mate. 37 years old, if I'm not wrong, mate. How you feeling? It must have been a pretty huge few weeks for you, obviously with the lead up, the event itself, and now celebrating a pretty significant win in such an important event in bodyboarding folklore. Fill me in.
Yeah, 100%. Still can't believe I've won the Shark Island Challenge. You know, as a grown, it was definitely something I watched all the comps and I've looked up to all the previous winners, and yeah, it's amazing to be amongst my idols on the trophy. Yeah, like I said, I really can't believe it at this stage.
Yeah, mate. Who did you look up to out of that wave growing up? I mean, there's a pretty deep lineup of legends.
Yeah, definitely. All the way back from like the Skid Kids crew and Wingnut and Ballard and Dougie Robson and Wazza and all those guys. Yusol's special one because we both got red hair. He's always been really supportive of me out there, and more recently, obviously, Andrew Lester's a massive one. Like he always gets the best wave out there when he's out there on the day. So yeah, I wrangle with him in the final is
well, I assume that level of respect is. I mean, it's probably grown, but it might start balancing out to a degree. So someone you're looking up to, but then to have the opportunity to surf against him in a final in pretty challenging conditions and then and take it away. And I mean, you look at the list of credentials Lester has up against his name in competitive bodyboarding throughout his career. It's probably one of the best in Australian history.
Yeah, for sure. He won, countless Australian titles and all that sort of stuff. And I think got second in the world, what would you call it, the International Bodyboarding Association, in the world title race a few years ago. And he's on the Shark Island Challenge, and it's this sort of guy, you see him out in the lineup and he's sort of in awe all the time. Like I had a Andrew Lester bodyboard growing up, just after I had my Wingnut, one of my first boards, and I love that board. He's an idol, and to go up against him in the final, and when he had a fractured scapula, it's just it really is a testament to his resilience and his ability. Like to really take it to me in the final there after I got some pretty solid scores early on. Like
proper never back down mentality from Lester, hey?
100%. Yeah. He's a soldier. He's, like I say, he's one of my idols, one of my heroes. And I can't say enough about Andy Lester. He was so gracious in in defeat, coming second. He was it grew my respect for him, which is pretty hard to do, He's probably the bodyboarder I respect the most.
I tell you what, mate, if all things pan out and the Shark Island Challenge continues to be an annual tradition, I dare say Lester's going to be putting in some pretty hard work behind the scenes to get back there again next year.
No doubt. Yeah, I know it's training pretty hard going into the event and getting out there a fair bit, and I don't know if it was a bit of like tactics, but him and Sean Pine were definitely both were training really hard and putting up all their replays from the Sonet cams, so all the good waves they got. So that was quite intimidating,
Mate, I heard Piney dropped like 15 kgs or something leading up to the event. Like he really put in the effort.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely.
What a machine.
we went down to Shippy a couple of months back, me, Pino, and Cholo, and he was looking pretty fit and healthy. You know, he put a lot of work into it. You know. He's obviously got a missus and a kid too, or 2 kids now, I think. And he's just, he wanted it more than anyone, I think. To get a 4th, a 3rd, and a 2nd, yeah.
He needs to finish his own podium stand, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's made the final in every challenge he's gone in, except for this one, which I think was pretty lucky for me. You know, he didn't really get the wave come to him.
Yep.
And I think that sometimes the luck of the draw, you know. Like, even a few weeks back when we had a session out there, he got the wave of the day, you know. Like, so I guess he's right behind Andy Lester in always performing. When you're out there, you know, and down Shippies, he got a bomb too. It was really sick. It was just after the wave I got, which was pretty good. And sort of look back and I just see Pino just going through an absolute cavern, deep as and spat out. It was,
mate, there is still a very deep kind of cauldron of talented bodyboarders from that Cronulla region, and I guess we'll get into it a little bit later on, but pretty hard to look past any of the locals to really be within the best chance of taking out that event this year.
Yeah, 100%. You know, Jack Baker, he's always out there. He's always travelling. He's always getting really good waves. He's always someone that I'm going up against in the Cronulla Club comps out there, and he's always really hard to beat. But I think Sam Strachan is, you know, again, one of those guys that just sort of put it together on the day. He's won so many in the club comps. He's the only guy I know that will put on Instagram the night before, you know, don't even bother coming to my boys, I got this in the bag, and then actually winning it the next day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's an amazing bodyboarder, world-class bodyboarder, and just super talented.
Hey, mate, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the event itself, I kind of want to rewind the tape a little and just go into your kind of early days. So once again, mate, growing up around that area, again, probably having a pretty significant lineup to challenge yourself against. And obviously you've talked a little bit about your crew that you have now. Were they the same guys you kind of surfed with growing up? And I mean, what did it take to eventually find yourself in the lineup out of Shark Island? I mean, it's a daunting wave when it's on, but in saying that, there's a pretty daunting pecking order on top of that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, a lot of hard work, a lot of early mornings. I used to always say the early bird gets the worm. Like, you've got to get out there before like the Ballard and Missile and Wazzer and all those guys, you know, like Ringer, Benny Williams. Just, there's so many guys to mention, you know, and they've all like got their spot and earned their spot out there. Even like Desi and Nicky and those guys, you know, they've put in the time, and you know, I guess they can sit at the top of the pecking order for a long period of time and wait for the wave of the day. Which I've always, you know, I've always admired, and to be able to, sit there and, you know, work my way up and put in the time as well. It's been quite a journey, but I've done so much travel, so many missions, you know, up and down the coast, mainly down the coast because we don't like going through the city and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, we just hunt heaps of waves up and down the coast, and just want to get barrels, really.
So at what age did you kind of first, I guess, get out at the island? Obviously, you know, most of us all got into bodyboarding at a pretty young age. I mean, you don't just go out there for your first shot at it. What was your kind of lead up? Were you just surfing the point and then working your skill set until you felt confident in the bigger stuff? And then, you know, beyond that, how long did it take, even when you were in the lineup at Island, before you actually felt like you had the opportunity to get a good one?
Yeah, I think I was in year 7, so I was probably like 13 when I first, you know, went out the island, and it was an island left sort of day, and there was a few guys out there, not too many guys, and I was just in awe at the amount of barrels that were coming through, and the guys just taking off, you know, deep as behind the peak on a wedge and just getting just absolutely pitted and coming out. Like, it was, that was so impressive, and I think I got one right, and, you know, ended up on the island and had to sort of, walk around or sort of walk over and jump off on the left side there and paddle back out all the way around Kitties. And from there I knew I wanted to surf that wave a lot more. It's a special wave. It's unique.
And from that moment there, how long? So like you said, year 7, was it kind of the same time frame or not that long after where you felt like you really got your first good one, or was there still a fair bit of kind of trial and error?
I think it was a fair bit of trial and error. I'd get sort of okay waves and good waves for my own standards at that point. But it was probably a good 3 or 4 years before I got like a really good one. A lot of time spent just on surge when the older guys were on the peak.
Yep.
But probably one of the best ones I got was in a little YouTube clip that I've got up there and had it up there for I'd say almost 20 years now. Where I got hit like the whole way. It was a pretty special wave, and even looking back on it now, I don't get too many waves of that of that caliber. It was probably a 9 out of 10 in contest standards, so it was a really, really good wave. Yeah, like I say, there's been a few special sessions where I sort of get out early and with a couple of guys and play Bella and still be able to actually get the waves before the bulk of the crew sort of get out there.
And were those guys pretty supportive of the new era, or was it still a little bit of that old school mentality where there was like, you guys are the Groms, it's just never going to happen kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think early on it was very much that sort of old school mentality. They were out there to get their waves, you know what I mean? They were there to get their fix. We're all sort of addicts of bodyboarding, and there was a little bit of encouragement, but not too much in the early days. And then as I sort of got a bit older, it was more camaraderie and a bit more encouragement as they sort of started to get to know me and see me out there all the time.
And again, I mean, the wave itself is super intimidating. I've only had the opportunity to surf it twice in my life, and that was pretty much very small days. I think once was after an island contest. I'd filled in to do some beach commentary, actually, and that's probably pushing back more than a decade now, I think. But, I mean, you must have seen some pretty ugly stuff out there as well, right? There's been some pretty gnarly stories regarding, spinal damage, face damage. It's not a pretty inside section to come unstuck. Yeah,
that's for sure. I don't remember seeing anything too bad, but I was definitely around when most of the time when Adam Smith sort of did his space and all that, and then more recently in the club comp where he put a huge cut in the top of his foot there, and I think he showed me, he said, "Oh, Benny, come over, look at this," and he sort of pulled the bandage off, and I was like, you could pretty much see the ligaments.
Ooh.
That was super deep, and he had to go to the hospital and all that. He was out of the water for a couple of weeks, and out of work and all that sort of stuff. So I've definitely seen my fair share of injuries and stuff out there, but knock on wood that I've been able to avoid most of it. Just little nicks and cuts and stuff here and there, and a back slam or two. Actually, about 2 or 3 weeks before the challenge, I hit like my head out there, so I was pretty lucky I was wearing my Gath.
Well, I actually wanted to ask you about that. How long have you been wearing the helmet? Is that specifically for surfing island and big waves, or do you just generally feel more confident wearing the helmet in most conditions?
Yeah, I feel really confident wearing the helmet, and it's one of those things where I guess I must be a little bit superstitious, where I feel like the day I don't wear it is the day that I'm going to hurt my head. So even out the beaches and stuff like that, I'll wear it. Not that we surf beaches very often around here, but a straight surfboard or something can always happen. So I've been wearing the helmet for probably 3 or 4 years now. Specifically, we went down on a trip, me and Cholo and a guy called Guy Mack, went down and surfed Luna Park.
Yeah, my backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a little bit of a nasty recent fact about Lunas, mate. Actually, yesterday, and this is completely irrelevant to surfing altogether, there was a fucking murder-suicide at the top of the steps.
No way.
Yeah, pretty mental. I don't think a lot of info has come out about it so far, but man, it sent a bit of a shockwave through the local community.
Oh,
Like we don't even know who it is. Like we hope it's not a local. I mean, we obviously hope it wasn't anyone, but
that's really, really heavy.
Yeah.
Hey, I won't name the name of that beach, but I know exactly where you're talking.
Oh, it's no secret.
So Red
Yeah.
Beach. Well,
Yeah, but so you went down to Luna's.
Yeah, went down to Luna's, and it's actually was funny. We went down there, and we went down. We flew to Avalon, and we were just going to buy a car. Like Charles was buying a van, and we knew that Luna's was probably going to be pretty good over the next 2 days. So we went down further down to Luna's and stayed at Chris Della's house.
Yep.
When he was down there on the big wind turbine stuff. And the next day we went out and surfed a bit and just run into so many crews. It felt like half of Cronulla was there. Even Timmy Benoit was there in the bushes somewhere getting footage, you know what I mean? And
streaming it straight to his Instagram page.
Pretty much. He put up a YouTube clip called Lunacy, so you'll see it in that clip. Basically, I get absolutely fucking pumped on one, and
is that the one where Jackie Baker's doing little interviews at Princetown car park with Benoit and after it?
Yeah, that's the one exactly. Yeah. So I hit my head on that wave.
Yep.
And it was like, after that, I sort of went, oh fuck, man. I probably got to start wearing a helmet. And then maybe 3 months later, I went and seen Dr. John Pine up there at Glenmere for a skin cancer check, and ended up getting a mole cut out of my ear.
Yep.
So it was at that point where I thought, oh, well, I've got to cover up my ears. That was a pretty close call. So I'll start wearing the Gath. So I ordered a Gath, and it turned out to be yellow, and I guess the rest is here. It's history.
You basically look like a marine buoy in the lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, Cholo sent me a couple of funny memes with marine buoys and sort of said, oh, that's you, mate, sort of thing. And, but yeah, it's funny how something like that, you don't get it for any sort of reason besides like safety and, skin protection. And then it becomes like your calling card.
Yep.
It's definitely gone full circle like that. It's quite funny.
And how long did it take you to get used to wearing the helmet? Is yours the Gath that covers your ears, or is yours above the ear?
No, it's the one that covers the ears.
Yeah, so that's
it's a good.
It's a strange feeling. It's such a strange feeling.
Yeah, you just got to stick with it, and before you know it, it's sort of, I guess it becomes more comfortable almost. It keeps my head out of the wind and. Keeps me quite warm, and I think it's actually helped my ears because I've got surfer's ear in my right ear at least 90%, and I don't know what my left ear is, but it's pretty bad as well, So
yep.
I feel like that's helped a lot with that because they reckon it's more so the cold wind that does it than the water.
Yep.
So yeah, that's I guess that's probably a third reason as to why I now wear the Gath, but sort of just discovered that over time that my ears sort of feel like they've gotten a bit better.
Yeah, good to hear. Mate, so again, just recap. I want to know a little bit more about your crew. You've obviously name-dropped a few. You have a really good relationship with Desi from Emerald. Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
well, Desi's sort of one of the original guys that I ended up surfing with. Like, met him out in the island with Walzer and a few crew, and we ended up one day going back out, and then sort of deciding it wasn't very good, and that we thought there was a couple of ways that, or they thought, I was a kid, they thought, Jib and Bommy might be alright, which is the Bommy off of Bundina there.
Yep.
So we drove all the way around to Bundina, walked out along the beach and through the bush, jumped out, and paddled out there and got to have a session with Wazza and Desi and the mate Rory. So that was that was an amazing session, a couple of air bowls and barrel or two here and there. Yeah, that was sort of the beginning. From there on in, I sort of got to jump in the car with Desi and go all around the place. We've been to South Oz, Pico, West Oz, the Cook Islands, just so many different places, chasing waves, and yeah, he's my best mate. You know, he's he's been the biggest influence on my bodyboarding career for sure. He's one of those guys that's just super clean and super dedicated to surfing and just loves it. So Desi's the man.
I honestly don't think I've heard anyone ever say a bad word about Desi. I mean, there's lots of crew in bodyboarding, lots do good things. Some people do a bit of both, but yeah, Desi's one of those guys that's, you know, sits right at the top of that tier, is just an absolute champion and, you know, huge supporter of the sport, just puts a bunch back into it and, you know, doesn't really take much in return.
Yeah, you're right. You know, he's helped out pretty much everyone in the bodyboarding community, and he's had some help from Desi in one form or another over the years. And I couldn't be more grateful. You know, like he's shown me the ropes, shown me the spot. Yeah, introduced me to so many different people. It's just now he's sort of got a missus and kids and stuff. He sort of, you know, gets entangled in the family life a bit. But I guess that spirit still lives on, and just me and Cholo really are the ones that just chase. You know, and there's a lot of crew that I see in the surf, and I consider them good mates, and you know, go to all the parties and all that with Jack Baker and crew. But Cholo and I are the ones that are always, you know, together chasing waves. You know, Pico, South Oz, too many places to name really. If you see me, there's a 90% chance that Cholo's there with me. Or he's said, nah, it'll be shit and I'll have to go by myself, you know what I mean? But yeah, we keep it pretty tight and pretty small sort of crew and just chase every swell.
Mate, speaking of trips, I heard that you did a trip to Cloudbreak. When was that?
That was in 2017. I'd done a previous trip to Cloudbreak 2 years before that, so that must have been 2015. And as a kid, I'd been to Fiji twice with my parents. But that 2017 trip was very special, you know. I sort of went over there and stayed in we had a timeshare thing when I was with the ex-missus, and we were staying there, and we sort of just got there, and I checked the charts, and I was like, oh, tomorrow's going to be the best day of the whole time I'm there. I've got to go there, and you know, she'd obviously booked some island hopping buddy cruise thing with fire dancers and all that touristy sort of stuff, and I just said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going surfing. And
pulled rank.
Tried to ring up Fiji. Yeah, she wasn't happy about it, that's for sure. Yeah, I sort of tried to call Fiji Surf Co, who do like sort of lifts out there and stuff for a decent price, and they were closed by that point. I think it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. You know, I'd sort of missed the boat, literally. And then so the next day I sort of had to just hunt a lift out there, and I ended up talking to one of the guys at the front desk, and he had a brother who had a cousin or something that had a boat and was willing to drive me out there for, I think it was like $600 Fiji, so it was very expensive.
Yep.
But it ended up being, and it had heaps of dramas. I don't know, boat wouldn't start, or there was petrol issues. There was some issue, and ended up picking me up probably about 10 o'clock or something. So the family went on their little day cruise, and I just sat there just trying to get on the boat. And yeah, they finally picked me up, and I paddled out from the Wyndham there and on Nardi on Denaroo Island, and picked me up and drove straight out there. And it was pretty big, and it was a little bit windy, and sort of he's like, oh, you should just go to restaurants. And I'm like, no, mate, I'm here for like Cloudbreak. And I guess the rest is history. I got one of the best waves of my life out there that day, and I just found I was sitting out in the lineup, and there was a few crew out there. I think they were from your area, Victoria, actually.
Yep.
And they're wearing these red rip curl vests, and I was sort of like, oh, what are you guys wearing these things for? Like, what are these? And they had the tags out, and they explained to me, obviously, you know, they're obviously common now, but back then it was sort of new stuff. And
yeah, it was new age.
Oh, you pull this, and we've got canisters and they fill up in case you get a really heavy wipeout and all this sort of stuff. And then, as I was talking to them, a couple of big sets started to roll through. And the first one actually sort of was coming across and it almost washed across and we all sort of started paddling out and duck dive, under that or went under that. And then the next one was bigger, but it was straighter. And I just had this moment where I was like, this is your wave. And they were paddling for the horizon, these guys.
They were looking to get out of there.
They were getting the hell out of there. And I turned around and I just paddled my ass off. And, just dropped in super deep, pulled up and just gassed it. And the thing just broke, I'd say 5 meters, 10 meters in front of me, this huge barrel. And I just held on and just, was driving for it. And then there was this point where I was like, oh no, I'm too deep. And then it sort of sucked in. You know how it sucks in before it spits out?
Yep.
I felt that suck and I was like, oh no, it's about to take me. And I just said in my head, I was like, no, and just held on and just, you know what I mean? Just really leant in and then it spat and it just spat me out. And then I pulled up over the wave and into the channel and just let out the
big hoot
Yahoo you've ever heard. Like I was just like, fucking yeah! I didn't care who was there. I think Julian Wilson or someone was there. Who was I think he was the world champ at the time.
Nah, never heard of him, mate. Never heard of him.
Yeah,
I thought he was a golfer.
Not care, you know what I mean? I just didn't care who was there. That was I was so pumped. It was fucking amazing. That was a really, really good way.
All right, mate, let's move on and let's chat about the event. I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's been off the event calendar for a number of years now. Lukey and the crew have done a spectacular job. Like the amount of time, energy, media, and just backbreaking, blood, sweat, and tears into getting this thing off the ground, to fund it. Like that's a feat within itself. Like that's a huge win for bodyboarding. But then obviously comes all the work for the bodyboarders, including yourself. Can you give us a bit of a run through? I hear you've been putting in a fair bit of time. Is it Surface Strength?
Yeah. I've been down there for probably 5 or 6 years now. Just training Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, it was Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then they dropped the Monday session, so I could only do Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep.
And then every so often they'll do a breath training, sort of in-pool training stuff.
Yep.
And when that first come out, I'd seen the message 12 hours after it come out, and I messaged Dino. I was like, oh, yes, get me on this. And he's like, sorry, brother, it's all full. Like it just filled up so quick.
Yeah.
And from that point on, and then I'm like, all right, well, you need to get me on the next one. So I put my name down for the next one before it even existed. And yeah, I've done probably 3 of those now. I'm doing one at the moment and probably halfway through that as well again. But yeah, it's given me so much confidence, training down there with all the guys and that. It's really that and the helmet. I'm just unstoppable. You know what I mean?
Invincible.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Superhero status.
Yeah, that's how I feel in the water. So it's great. I feel really strong in the water. And yeah, I can't say enough about how much that training has benefited me, and obviously everyone down there. It's been great. As for the Shark Island Challenge, it's like you say, it's an absolute feat to get it off the ground and running. I know Des in the crew had been chasing sponsors for a long time and hadn't really had much luck, and then poor Bananas passed away at the point a few years ago now, and that really stopped all the momentum that they'd built up trying to get it going. And then obviously Sam and Lukey come along and just started the marketing straight away. They knew they were gonna pull it off, and they had the confidence to just keep going with it and track down the sponsors and get everyone involved and put on a really, really professional production. The live stream was amazing. You know, Brendo in the bow and all the guys up on the hill, and Crispy and Toby and Lukey just getting into it. You know, he's got like golden tonsils. Lukey O'Connor, he's so smooth with words. I'm in deep admiration of the way he can talk.
Mate, the anticipation in that presentation was classic. That was all time Lukey,
wasn't it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
mate, when
the
you
guys just did a wonderful job. They really put on a spectacular event. I've never seen so many people on the point there at Cronulla. There were so many people. There would have been an extra couple of tons on the point. You know, it could have fallen over at that point. There were so many people up there. It was it was magical.
Mate, look, I've already spoken to Lukey since the back end of the event. Like the amount of statistic data that they've collected through that event, there is absolutely no way that event is not going to go ahead bigger and better in 2025.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They've put in the blood, sweat and tears. You know, they've all got families or except for them and businesses that they run, and they got so much other stuff going on. I don't think they even knew the sort of workload that was coming to them when they first, you know, thought about taking on the Shark Island Challenge. Mm. But they pulled it off, and it was an absolutely amazing event. You know, I'm sure they'll do even better next year. Already talking about, you know, all the little things that they can change and do better. You know, I talked to Sad the other night. He's like, "Oh, we need food trucks, we need bins, we need this, we need that," and I was just, they're really driven to do it. And you know, the comp stops and everyone goes, "Yeah, then you throw one," and those boys are still doing so much stuff. You know what I mean? They're sending out rashies and, you know, and thanking all the sponsors, and it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into preparing, running, and post-production of any event. It's basically an unpaid full-time job. Yep.
Oh yeah, and like, you know, the amount of water and pens and all the little things that you would never ever think of, it all just adds up to so much time, effort, and money.
Yep, mate. So leading into the event, obviously, you know, it was a great week. You know, you guys had a pretty cool session out at Urban Surf. You know, I was talking to Lukey about it. It was probably one of the biggest collaborative bodyboarding kind of sessions to be ever held in a wave pool. Like you had some of the biggest names, well, in the history, all at the same place at the same time. So, I mean, for Urban Surf, if they don't realise, I guess, the influence that bodyboarding's having on their business, then shame on them. Do more, Urban Surf, do more. That's all I can say. But mate, from there, obviously you guys, you had the heat draw launch. Mate, when your name got pulled out of the little bingo ball machine, what were your thoughts? I mean, when you looked at that total heat draw, like who did you kind of think, geez, here's the guy that's going to take it out, or wow, this guy's a dark horse? Like, what was your take on that draw?
Yeah, there was so many, like you say, just so many names in that draw that are just so prestigious in bodyboarding. Pretty much every single one of them above mine. And you know, like personally, like to get drawn in heat 4, I thought that was a really good heat, like timing wise, to get drawn in. But then to see Dave Winchester, Mike Stewart, Cohen Thomas, and then one of the, I'll say, local lords that just puts in so much time and effort travelling all around Australia, chasing heavy slabs, Adam Kesbar. You know, like it was really a stacked heat, and they were all stacked heats. Every single one of those heats was like, I was like, oh my god, I hope I'm not in that heat. But you know, you had to be in one of the heats, and thank my lucky stars, I was able to get through that first heat and go on to get the Chocky Bickies.
Mate, with those, obviously, again, you know, many people have spoken about it. It wasn't Perfect Island. I mean, it was fucking huge. But the swell direction just wasn't on point. You know, non-competitive, is that a day that you would normally consider going out?
No, I would have gone somewhere else for
Yep.
sure. There's a bunch of waves that would be better in those sort of conditions, and for me, it would have been between KPs. If I was surfing with my son, I probably would have gone to KPs. Colonel Point, which is just around the corner. I don't know if you know that area very well.
Yep.
It's a point break with a pretty thick barrel, and it blocks out a lot of the swell and a lot of the wind. But yeah, I would have been going to Red Sands most probably.
Yep. So speaking of your son, Zach, how old is he? 12 now?
He's just turned 13 a month or two ago.
Well, I think you only had your birthday recently as well, yeah?
Yeah. So my birthday is April 11th.
37 this year?
37, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And April 25th is his birthday. So his birthday is Anzac Day.
Gotcha.
And he was born pretty much ready to go to the dawn service. So Zach is such a fitting name, and a bit of a tribute to all those soldiers that lost their lives, protecting our freedoms.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Anzacs, mate.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Zach's the apple of my eye. He's my biggest supporter and my best mate. You know what I mean? We go surfing all the time together. Obviously not the last 4 months or so, as he broke his ankle and tore some ligaments out Shark Island on the left.
No way.
Yeah. There's a few of the boys out there, Luke O'Connor and Chris Hoff and a few others. And we're getting a couple left, and he was loving life. I was sort of getting him in deep, like on the wedge, and he was getting bailed straight through the peak there, and he was frothing, he was charging, and then he sort of was paddling back out, and there was a sort of one missed the peak and sort of went a bit further down the reef, and the boys were like, "Go, Zachy, go," and he charged it, and he pulled in, and then because it was sort of down the reef, it didn't hit the top of the peak, it sort of all swung in a bit, sort of picked him up and threw him down on the reef, and I sort of looked to see if he was all right, and I sort of thought he was going to get done, and I thought about yelling out, "Don't go that one," but got to learn his own lessons as well, but I didn't realise it was going to be such a bad wipeout and such a lesson for him, you know what I mean? So, that's probably one of my regrets over the last couple of months.
Nah, no such thing as regret, mate. Everything's a learning opportunity.
Yeah, well said. As soon as he popped up, I was like, oh no, like he's really hurt himself here. Like he sort of gave me that look, and I obviously went straight for him and paddled him in, and had to lift him up on the beach and walk out of Blackwoods Beach, which you might not know, it's not the easiest thing to get out of.
Yeah, gotcha.
And put him on a mate's driveway there, Tommy's driveway, and they just hung out with him, and I went and grabbed the car and just drove down there and sort of picked him up and put him in the car. It was actually the day of my brother's wedding.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it was a Friday, and he'd stayed over the Thursday night, because that way I don't have to go and pick him up and stuff. Like, he can get ready for the big thing and that, and the waves were going to be all right. So we went for a surf, and obviously backfired pretty hard on us. And
so did he miss the wedding?
Take him down. No, he soldiered on. I rushed him up to Miranda Medical Centre. We got an X-ray, and the doctor says, "Oh, it looks all right. Doesn't look like anything's broken." And so I took him down to the wedding and helped him into his pants and all that, and lifted him up and took him up the stairs and put him down on one of the lounges there. So it was still present for the wedding, which was nice. But it turned out a week or two later that he had 2 fractures in his growth plate.
Jesus.
And, some ligament damage as well.
So when's he going to be back in the water, you think?
He should be back in about a month's time. He's got like a follow-up appointment with the doctor. We're sort of waiting for he's okay to go surfing, because obviously with a flipper it puts a fair amount of pressure on the foot. Like I eased back in the pool. Like I went down to Sawyer for a swim in the pool and a steam in the sauna and all that today, and he come down and joined us, and we're doing all that, like breath training exercises and that sort of stuff. So he's swimming great, but yeah, I think we just got to wait till he gets the okay from the doctor, then he can put the flipper on and really get back out there and start charging again.
Well, I tell you what, mate, he's definitely got something to, I guess, aim for now that his dad's a Shark Island Challenge champion.
Yeah, he's dead set certain that he's going to do it one day himself. So got that drive and that motivation.
Mate, I would take those odds right now.
Yeah, me too. I'll hardly believe that he can do it one day, and he can experience the same joy and happiness and put his name
on the board.
The piece of wood with the closeout on it. That's what I refer to it as. You know, I got a few sessions before the comp, and you know, I sort of got a couple of really good waves one of the days. You know what I mean? I sort of come out screaming like, "Give me that piece of wood with a closeout on it!" And I was just really pumped, you know. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that he can put his name up there on the same trophy, which would be.
Well, I guess
that'd be an even happier moment for me than myself winning it, you know, an even prouder moment.
Mate, this is a watch this space moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Mate, so it's
so funny. I went to water polo last night, and then afterwards we had sort of like a bit of dinner and some Chinese with a few of the boys, and you know, ate a heap of Chinese as you do, and then the fortune cookies come out, and the one I got says, "Great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance."
Wow.
I feel like that's so fitting to what I've been able to achieve over the last 5 or so years, 6 years, just training hard and surfing hard and chasing slabs. It's all come to fruition for me, so I couldn't be happier.
Mate, I just want to, focus on the final now. Obviously, you know, pretty star-studded lineup. I guess you could say 3 locals. I'm a big fan of Mickey Osler, but I feel like, you know, although he's been there for 5-6 years now, maybe a bit longer, you can't quite claim local status yet, can he?
Not in my mind.
Yeah,
you know, you have to be a pure local, but you know, he's definitely an adopted local, that's for sure.
Oh, mate, he's earned his stripes for sure.
He's earned his stripes. He's had a lot of great waves out there. You know, he's part of the crew that surf it all the time, and he's got his place in the lineup, that's for sure. And I've seen him at a bunch of other good waves around town, and he's definitely always performing, that's for sure. He's a remarkable bodyboarder and a real competition surfer. So he was definitely a massive threat in that final, that's for sure.
And obviously Marley Dunn making waves all over the world. He's had a pretty productive 12 months travelling all across, you know, most noticeably with his time spent over in Ireland. So definitely. No stranger for chasing the heavy stuff. And then Lester. Like, I mean, like you said, I don't know, you want to call it luck or whatnot. You got to wash through at the start of your heat, which, you know, kind of led to you sticking around on that inside section. Was that your game plan in the final, or did you have a different method that you thought about doing? Because again, it was really hard to get those good ones. Yeah.
I was just to go back to Marley, you know, Mini Winchester. He's a remarkable surfer. He's so good. I really enjoy his island clips, and he's definitely someone I look up to a lot. And Lester's just king, you know, like he's always been one of my heroes, that's for sure. I've said a lot in another podcast about the things I've seen him do, you know, like the way he can ride a wave is just amazing, awe-inspiring. But my strategy was definitely to sit on the inside and pick off a couple of waves that actually were gonna bail, really, because there wasn't too many bails to be had out there on the day. And I sort of, you know, said to Andy, "Come on, mate," like, because at that point I didn't know it was a fractured scapula.
Yeah,
but he'd said I've really hurt my shoulder on that one in the semi-final that we were in.
Yep,
he was super sore, and he was just, you know, clenching on his shoulder, and sort of that looking down and that facial expression, we can tell he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's just
And I
grimacing.
sort of said to him, yeah, definitely. And I sort of said, come on, mate, you've got to do this. It's 40 minutes. Just stick it out. You can do this, mate. Like it's the Shark Island Challenge. It's the final. Let's do it. Yeah, obviously. And he even said, I think maybe it was Michael also said, what are we going to do about this? The priority straight away, and are we going to do scissors, paper, rock or anything? And Andy Lester just said, oh no, let's just surf, man. And so we'd all sort of paddled in similar spots, but I was probably the closest to the reef on all of those wash throughs, and it shows. And then I got washed through without even getting a wave. Banged up my heels and banged up my shoulder as well, without even getting a wave. But thankfully the water patrol was there, and they were able to get me straight back out there, and it somehow ended up being a blessing in disguise. They dropped me off, and I paddled straight down into the same spot that I wanted to be in, and then one popped up that I was pretty confident was gonna bail, and yeah, obviously I got pitted on that. It was seemed the best wave of the day. So yeah, amazing. So stoked.
So again, I mean, obviously the scores were complete in hiding for everyone at home sitting down watching the webcast. Obviously, didn't announce the winner till the presentation. Again, from a consumer's perspective, it looked incredibly close. I think, to be honest, if you had have done an online poll, it would have probably been 50-50 for you and Lester. Did you feel like you had it?
I thought I had it because it was like my third or my fourth wave. I got another barrel, and it felt like a good barrel. I didn't feel as good as the first one, but it felt like a really decent barrel. And for whatever reason, it wasn't probably scored as high as I thought it was, but I didn't know that at the time. So it ended up being my roller on my second wave that was my second highest score, and obviously contributed to the win. Only won by half a point, and that really goes to show that it was super close out there, and for him to get those waves with a fractured scapula was, I don't know what to say, amazing, inspirational, just to show that dedication and be a real soldier. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, I guess the one big takeaway is just to never count Lester out of a fight. Put it that way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like I say, I thought I had it. Obviously, I didn't see everyone's waves. I just seen them from the back. I thought Lester only got one good wave, but then obviously watching back, he definitely got two good waves. I got to jump up on the boat, and Johnny Shire, one of the old school guys, who's only a few years older than me actually, but he was on the world title race at some stage there, and I did the world tour, I'm trying to say. He sort of said, yeah, you got this, Benny, you got this. At that point I sculled a beer and celebrated, and did a big backflip up off the top of the boat. And,
mate, that in itself is worthy of a trophy. I mean, that boat was not lining up still. So to maintain balance after being in the water, I guess, for all of those heats, like your body must have been torched.
Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling it now. My neck and my shoulders and my feet and everything's sore. But I couldn't be happier. I soldiered through it and just got to sort of prepare and replenish, get the water into me and the protein into me, and sauna and spa and all that sort of stuff, and try and just look after myself.
Full recovery mode.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't usually recover very well in that I don't do a lot of that sauna and spa and all that sort of stuff, but ice on my shoulders or anything. But I actually went into the comp with sore shoulders already.
Yep.
It was sort of like an overuse injury is what I would call it. And, hitting my head and all that at the on a few weeks before, I sort of tweaked my neck, and I've had probably 3 or 4 burners in the last month. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a sort of, I think it's a pinched nerve.
Right.
in your neck, and like your whole arm sort of feels like it's on fire.
Jesus.
And the first one of those I had was on the Halloween swell. You might have seen that.
Yep.
That big green swell where Jack Baker got wave of the day, and they thought it was Andy Lester. On that day, so yeah,
that's not fair.
No, well, it's a compliment, right? But yeah, I swept my neck pretty bad getting a left out there. The shocky just hit me straight in the head, and that extra, I don't know, just that extra space with the gaff, you know what I mean? It sort of just, it grabs your head that little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's got something to hold on to.
Your head can't penetrate. Yeah, exactly. So that just tweaked my neck, and I just sort of soldiered through that session myself. And yeah, from then on, I'll say it hasn't been the same, but you know, it got better, and then yeah, I just expected again a couple of times, and yeah, it definitely hasn't been smooth sailing going in. I was a bit sick 2 weeks before at the Desi Origin barbecue. I was bloody coughing and spluttering and sneezing and that. His misso gave me ginger tea and everything, you know what I mean? Yeah, I sort of still feeling it a bit. You can probably hear it in my voice.
Oh, mate, you just sound like an acclaimed champion. I think it drops a level for when you win something like that. You start to get to that Sean Connery level.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's a mark of status, that's for sure,
mate. And let's just kind of try to wrap it up and talk about the presentation again. So much anticipation. Deep down, you felt like you had it. The crew did such an amazing job with that live feed prezzo. I think it's fantastic and sticks to the traditions of what the Shark Island event is. There was a little bit of chatter via the Keyboard Warriors saying they felt like they were cheated by not finding out straight after the event, but fuck them. Let the Shark Island Challenge do what it's always done. I mean, obviously before they announced that you'd won the event, I mean, you won Barrel of the Day. So first and foremost, you're heading off to Secret Sumatra on an all expenses paid trip. You basically took everything there was to take.
Yeah, I was that when I got that, I was like, oh my god, that's the dream come true, you know, like a trip. That's epic. I was so pumped.
Did you think
so I can take my boy and we can go get pitted and you know just food and love life in the tropical paradise? It's great.
Did you think in that moment when you won that award that you're like, oh fuck, maybe I haven't won the event now? Was that something in the back of your mind?
There was a little bit of that, but there was more of like I was pretty confident for whatever reason because I didn't see Lester's second wave. That's what it was. I was pretty confident, and I thought, and when I got the Barrel of the Day award, I thought, oh well, Barrel of the Day must equal the best score of the day, like you know, in my favour. But yeah, a lot of the time they'll do stuff like that, whereas you know, second will get this trophy and some other accolade, and then you know, then it goes to first to you know to try and throw it, and you know, and how they always get ads and on TV.
Oh yeah.
When you know,
there's a lot of anticipation.
Yeah, they build up the anticipation. So Lukey did that well, by the way. You know, he sort of even paused and said, "What's going through your mind?" Then you know. It was crazy, and he sort of looked at Andy Lester when he was announcing it and all that, and I was like, oh, I don't know, you know. So yeah, but to be announcing winner, that was one of the finest moments of my life, no doubt. That was super special. And there's a little bit of footage out there of my boy as it was announced too. You know, he was so pumped, he just double fist palm, you know, yeah. Often, and obviously I was.
Mate, those I guess family moments are stuff that you can never recreate. They're pretty special and intimate.
Unforgettable. I'll never forget that day as long as I live. That's for sure. And the Prezzo, they did really well and they had a good setup and they had food and drinks and all that stuff, all the competitors, and yeah, it was great. Obviously, I drank a lot, and a lot of people gave me drinks, and the night went on. We got back to Sunny Van's place and drank a heap more, and my boys were on the DJ deck, and like Charlie and those guys, the Tassie boys and stuff, were just frothing out. It was sick. It was a great party, that's for sure.
Did Zach take the day off school the following day?
I think he went to school actually. He went home with his brother Corey, and probably at about, I don't know, 10 o'clock or so, and I guess let me party hard from there. But as far as I know, he actually went to school the next day, which was really cool. I'm sure a few of the boys at school were pretty amped to see him, and I guess congratulate him and pump him up a bit. Yeah, it was nice.
So have you been true to your word and kept your end of the bargain by producing a case of soft drink for Zach? That was apparently the pre-event bet from what we heard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in the mail. I haven't got it for him just yet, but I've got him on Wednesday night, and yeah, I think I'll surprise him with a case of soft drink.
Okay, maybe some Chinese takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be epic, that.
Mate, so
maybe I'll take him out.
Yeah, well, so I think it's the least you could do, considering you pushed him into the wave that he hurt himself. There's got to be a bit of guilt. You've got to clear your conscience.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so you've already kind of basically answered one more question for me, which is the Sumatra trip. So you're obviously going to take Zach away. I was going to ask if out of sympathy you might have considered taking Lester alongside you.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of thought about that. Yep. I did think about taking Lester, that's for sure. I guess it's hard. Like I don't know how long he's out of the water. I know he's been there before, and it's just too hard to go past the boy.
Mate, if you didn't take anyone but Zach, yeah, I think hell would rain down on you.
Oh yeah, he would. I couldn't do that for him. No. You know, we've had some special trips together. The most notable ones recently in January. In the last 2 weeks of the school holidays, I took him over to Japan. We went to Niseko.
Yeah, he went snowboarding.
Yeah, we snowboarded for like 2 weeks straight. So you can imagine how sore I was after that.
Yeah, mate. You just use different muscle groups.
Yeah, but that was amazing. You know, like, hanging out all the time, doing crazy. I don't know. I do crazy shit sometimes, like doing flips out of a 4-story window and just fresh powder. But it was so much fun. You know, we built jumps and jumped into powder and all sorts of stuff. Like it was just went all the way around all the 4 mountains over there. You know, even got up to one of the other mountains. I forget what it's called, but went there for a day trip and met a bunch of cool people. And yeah, it was just a trip of a lifetime, which is probably what Thickest Sumatra will be too.
Mate, it'll just be another box checked on the pretty incredible list of life goals that you seem to be achieving so far, mate.
Yeah. Well, I've got a bucket list, and you know, win the Shark Island Challenge was Dad and Zach's bucket list. It's actually called my notes, and you know, win the Shark Island Challenge was one on there, and you know, Zach wrote that in for me.
No way.
He inspired me.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, 'cause when he put it in there, I was like, oh, you're giving me an impossible dream here, you know what I mean? But that's what a bucket list is, right? Like, it's got to be those things that you really want to do in life before you kick the bucket. And, yeah, to be able to tick that off, which good friend Cholo did on the night. He said, open that. He said, give me your phone. I'm opening that list. And he put the green tick on there for me. So that was special. You know, he's a really he's a tough dude. You don't see much emotion from him. You know, I have to sort of ask him if he's my friend. You know, sometimes, or if he considers me a mate sometimes. And for him to get all choked up and teary is special. You know, and just give me your phone, cunt. You know, go straight to the bucket list and ticks off that item. Like it meant a lot.
Hey, and mate, the last question that I'll wrap this up with, mate, you're $10,000 richer. Have you got a bit of an idea of what that money's going to go to? I mean, I hear you got to put a new battery in the ski.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Yeah, I went down the other day.
Mate, I'm a man of the people, Ben. I'm a man of the people.
I took all the Tassie boys down, or met them all down at a spot down south, and said, "Oh yeah, boys, I'll bring the ski, I'll give you the lift out there because it's not a nice paddle early in the morning. It's a long way out." And
where was this to?
The one a bit closer.
Oh, yep, gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. I try not to name too many spots, but you probably know the one I'm talking about anyway.
Yeah.
But we put it in, and they're all holding the ski and that, and I want to put the car, come across, and like, all right, does it start? And they're like, what do you mean, does it start? And they're like, we haven't tried. And so I jumped up on there and tried to start it, and no good. I had the battery on charge all night, but obviously it's dead, or there was a big issue. So I let the Tassie boys down a fair bit there. I felt like an absolute kook. But we ended up getting a lift out there from one of the local boys anyway. So,
mate, as long as it wasn't intentional and out of malice, I think they'll forgive you.
Yeah, that's what Callum said. He said, mate, no one does that on purpose. Eh? But yeah, we ended up going out there and surfing for like 7 hours with all the crew out there. So that was a special session to share with the boys from Tassie. That was really nice.
Happy days. All right, mate.
So yeah, sorry. The 10 grand, I think it was just going to go towards the dream of one day, purchasing a property. Otherwise, I think it'll filter into trips or pay off all the trips that I've already done this year. And that's probably it.
Well, mate, the only way you're going to buy a property in Sydney with 10 grand is if you invest all of that into some really unknown crypto that's about to go bonkers.
Yeah, I've got a bit of money saved up, but it's just that into that really. I'm nowhere near any sort of deposit, that's for sure. I think it will go to trips, and I really want to go to Chopper and get some big waves over there. That'd be awesome.
Well, I think I honestly think there has to be a bunch of people out there in the bodyboarding community and even outside of the bodyboarding community that essentially are in sports entertainment that must have looked at this event and gone, holy fuck, there is some real potential to do something special here. And again, by doing it in waves of consequence, such as Shark Island, such as Chopes, look at other places that, Shippies would be next level.
The boys have thought about it, but the logistics are definitely difficult.
Oh, mate, Again, I spoke with Sammy about this. I've spoken to Luke, had really in-depth conversations with another good mate of mine, Dave Heavyside, about trying to create these kind of big wave concepts. But, I mean, Cronulla's so unique. I mean, it's where else in Australia do you have a wave like that that's smack bang in the middle of a town? Like, you just don't. I mean, you got the Gold Coast with, but they're beaches, man. They're not death slabs. Everything else in Australia is in the middle of fucking nowhere. Within the restraints of a national park or fisheries. In
the desert.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine?
I guess the box is probably the only other one, that's sort of at Mars, but Mars is the biggest town in the world either.
And it's not even in town. Like Mars is inland. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Cronulla, you can just get off the train and walk straight there.
That's nuts. Crazy. Yeah. All right, mate. Well, once again, on behalf of myself and all the Closeout team, a massive congratulations. Couldn't have picked a more deserving winner for the Comeback Shark Island Challenge event. Obviously a mind-blowing result for you. Also a big win, I think, for bodyboarding in general. Mate, we can't wait to see you back in that lineup again next year defending your title. And, looking forward to hopefully seeing a pretty creative content kind of clip come out of your trip to Sumatra.
Yeah, I can't wait to go there and to get back into another Shark Island Challenge would be a blessing. I'm so pumped, and thanks so much to the Closeout crew and yourself, Benny. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to give me a call and reminisce on one of the best weeks of my life.
Mate, I think you're going to be reminiscing for this for the rest of your life.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, mate. Thanks heaps, and chat again in the future.
Sounds good. Cheers, mate.